All right, moving along. There's some Avatar 2 news as well. Basically, we weren't going to even talk about any of this stuff because it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and I kind of wanted to cut out early. But then Bevin's like, "Are we going to talk about this? Are we going to talk about that?" And I was like, "All right. I mean, I guess we can." So, Bevin, take it away. What's our Avatar 2?
I mean, there was something interesting because it's been what? Like, it's been over a decade since the last Avatar movie, and it's about to come out in December. And James Cameron came out in an interview saying that the movie is so, and this is his quote, expensive that it needs to
Bing.
become the third or fourth highest grossing film of all time to even break even, which baffles me. I'm like, what? Why is it that expensive?
Maybe he set the bar for himself on that. He's like, "I'm going to be the third or fourth highest grossing films of all time."
I mean,
Period.
honestly, it looks on par with the movie he made 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So obviously, I don't see that he had to upgrade too much technology to achieve what he had achieved 10 years ago. In fact, I would argue that technology is probably cheaper at this point. So it's kind of weird. I mean, I'm sure the movie is a magnificent spectacle, but I can't I can't imagine that it needs to be the fourth highest grossing movie of all times just to break even. That's
Well,
Well, you know how Hollywood accounting is. No movie makes money. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So,
I mean, it makes me curious to even watch any kind of behind the scenes of like, did you come up with new technology that you haven't revealed yet? Like the actors were
he has
talking
to have.
about. I mean, it has to be because if it's a new piece of equipment, obviously it's going to be more expensive to use. And they filmed the actors underwater, so I'm thinking to myself, like, is it
so what
some?
happens? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking to myself, is it some sort of new camera technology or motion capture technology
What happens
while
is
they're
you
in water?
become the avatars as you walk into the theaters. That's what it is. Like
Oh
it's
my
this new
god.
technology bounces it back at you, and you're like, "Oh crap, I'm blue." Like
Well,
I
I
didn't know it
did.
happened.
Well, I
Yeah.
did read that they're going to sell 3D tickets again, which I haven't seen an advertisement for 3D tickets in a while because
Well,
who
because
wants
3D
to
tickets
watch?
were like a garbage gimmick. Like Avatar did 3D, and it was truly an amazing experience. I do remember my dad and I when we saw the movie together, were like, "Holy cow, this is an experience." And then every movie, I think was it John Carpenter's? What was it? There was another movie came out like right after, and they converted it to 3D, and it was just garbage.
Yeah.
Like it was just absolutely garbage. And 3D became this like gimmick because look, that's what Hollywood does, right? If you make a lot of money on gimmick A, they will then say, "Well, we are gimmick 1A, and you should come and see it because if you enjoyed it, then you'll pay the extra money. It'll be great." And it was awful, and people eventually stop, paying for the 3D ticket. I got to a point too where I was like, at some point, it was taking away from my enjoyment wearing the glasses, and I'm like, I'm good. Like I don't even. I'll just go see the regular film because I want to enjoy the film rather than the experience. So, 3D is great if it's worth it.
I
If it's
mean,
worth it.
I would see it in IMAX theater if it's going to be a visual spectacle, which I believe it that's going to be the selling point is check out this new technology and all the different visuals we can do with this new technology. But I don't have a lot of faith in the script of Avatar 2.
Hmm.
I don't. I don't know what's your
What
thought
script? There's
process.
not going to be a script.
That's a lot of like fish people
The humans
swimming
are going to
around.
come back from some more unobtainium, and then there's going to be another fight. And
I'm
being that this is like a second act in a 5-act story or whatever,
Yeah.
it's probably gonna end disastrously for our heroes.
They're gonna kill
So,
Indiana
so
Jones in it. Is what's gonna happen. He's gonna end up in there, and they're gonna be like, "What?" Harrison Ford's like, "I'm not
good
gonna
one.
die in just one
It's a good
movie."
one.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die in like Avatar.
It'd be amazing if he
Well,
just died across multiple movies.
so one thing before we move on that I found interesting from just an actor perspective is that Sigourney Weaver is back, but she's back as a 15-year-old Avatar character. And she was just on is it Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon? I think it was Jimmy
It's a
Fallon.
Jimmy show.
It was a Jimmy show, and she was talking about that, which I do recall when I interviewed the cast of Planet of the Apes. the Weta digital ones, they were talking about how revolutionary it was, because then actors can get cast, especially if they're playing creatures, they can get cast as different genders or different age ranges, because it's not about what you physically look like, it's about what you emotionally can do. So she's back playing a 15-year-old Avatar
Hmm.
in this movie, and I thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Something
That's it.
different.
Something
You know,
different.
She's taking opportunities away from another 15-year-old though. It's
I
terrible.
honestly have no doubt that the movie is going to be fascinating, and there's a lot of intriguing elements to it, because if you are familiar with the previous film, there are actors in this movie that blatantly died in the last film. So just to see how the story unfolds with their inclusion is fascinating enough. I have no doubt that I never bet against James Cameron. I have
No,
no
you
doubt
can't.
about him, but I just doubt the level of audience curiosity that
Yes.
exists today. I just think
Well,
that most people have decided, look, being outside, it's fun and all, but if I don't have to do it, I'm not going to do it. And like, movies take their time to creep up to, so I'm sure in the aggregate it's going to be a successful film, just like Black Panther, just like Jurassic Park, which everyone wrote off because it didn't make $1 billion in the first like 3 weeks, and it took like 3 months
Sure.
to creep its way up there, but it eventually did get there. It's just like people are just not ferocious cinema goers anymore at the moment.
Not with
Regardless of, and
streaming wars
anybody
now.
wants to talk about whether it's not, whether it's the health scare or anything like that, people just aren't rabid movie goers at the moment. They take their time to get around to it. I'll get to it. I'll go to it. I'll see it when I see it. And they do eventually go, because these movies are successful, but they
Right.
take a long time. And then the new scales of success haven't caught up with the social revolution of people not running to the theater. So I've seen a lot of the movie punditry called a bunch of movies like flops that have turned out to make like $900-700 million or $1 billion, but they had already written it off like maybe 3-4 weeks ago. So
Rogue Wave. Hi guys, Mike Dolce here from the Rogue Wave podcast. If you like this video, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It really helps us out. Leave a comment, let us know what you'd like to see in future episodes, and tune in every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, for a brand new episode of the Rogue Wave podcast.